The Firebirds Fan Zone is all about sharing the Coachella Valley Firebirds fan experience. So if you're enjoying the show, please remember to subscribe and hit the notifications button so you never miss an episode. If you're really enjoying the show, please feel free to share it with the world. And of course, hit that like button. Okay, if you're ready, we're ready. So let's get into it. 3, 2, 1.
Firebirds goal! Scoring his 13th goal of the playoff. The captain, number 17, Max McCormick, assisted by number 19, Cameron Hughes. Welcome to the Firebirds Fan Zone with your hosts, David and Kyle.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Christopher, we're rolling.
That's how we do this.
And that's how every show starts. It just starts with us talking.
Dive right in.
Just some guys talking.
There you go. I like it.
Firebird Fan Zone is back.
We are back, baby.
And we're elevating our game, man. We have maybe the best get we've got.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there because I don't know.
We got Grant here. Okay,
but
second to Grant, is that okay?
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
second. I'll take that.
Second to Grant.
Absolutely.
So introduce our
All right, we got-
amazing guest.
VP of Hockey Operations, Troy Bodie. I'm going to go through your bio so everyone knows your street cred, and then we're not going to talk about any of it.
Yeah.
And we'll
All right,
get to other
sounds
stuff.
good.
But
You have to be here then?
yeah,
No, yeah,
you got to
have
nod.
to be
You got
here.
to be here to nod a little bit.
confirm.
9th round, 2003 NHL draft. You started with the Edmonton Oilers and their teams, the Stockton Thunder.
Yeah.
Big Go Thunder, I guess.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs out in Hamilton. You spent seasons in the AHL, Springfield, Iowa, San Antonio, Toronto, North. Did you get to keep your freaking flyer miles?
Yeah,
All
I got a
those-
lot of tracksuits.
Man,
Yeah.
you got your closet must be full of stuff.
Yeah.
2008, you signed with the Anaheim Ducks. We're going to talk about that for sure.
Sure.
You made your NHL debut in 2009 with the Anaheim Ducks. We're going to talk about that for sure. Went over to the Carolina Hurricanes, Toronto Maple Leafs, 159 NHL regular season games. And of that 159, you may not even remember this, NHL regular season games, you posted 172 penalty minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
It gets better. Total of 381 AHL games
Yeah.
with a total of 621 penalty minutes. We'll talk about that as well.
Yeah.
2015, you retire from the ice. You get into management, spend a few minutes with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and now you started here as the director of hockey operations, now the vice president of hockey operations. Let's start at the beginning, and
Sure.
here we go. You were born in January 1985 in Canada. Start there.
Well, that's
Yeah.
right at the start.
Yeah,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, grew up in Canada, small town. Well, it was a farm outside of Winnipeg. It was a great childhood. It was a very typical Canadian childhood. Learned to skate on the front yard. My dad just sprayed it with water, let it freeze, and there's pictures of me just bundled up with a nice snowsuit and a helmet and skates. And
Do you have any
what's that?
pictures?
Oh, not on me, but
Well, not on you, but
I get you. Some.
yeah, I want to see one.
How old were you when you strapped him on for the first time getting out there?
I'll bet you I was under 3. Like, yeah.
That's what we hear. We hear that a lot. It's like 2-3 years old. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
you guys are out there on the ice.
Shoes, skates.
Shoes. Well, not even shoes.
Yeah, right.
Here's your skates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, in Canada, that's just what you did. I mean, my brother played, my neighbor kids played. Like, if you didn't play, it's like, well, what did you do?
So
Right?
do all the neighbor kids playing in their hosed down driveways dream of the NHL?
I think every kid in Canada ever lace them up does. Yeah.
All right, so walk us through. Give us the Reader's Digest version.
So you go through junior, or not juniors, but it's
Pee-wee.
middle school, pee-wees,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you want to call it, and then you're working your way up, and then you're in high schools. Is that around the time you started feeling like, hey, I might have a shot at this, or when did you start feeling like? Because everybody, like you just said, in Canada, dreams of being at the show.
Yeah.
And there comes a moment, I think, in every professional athlete's career where you're kind of seeing yourself separate, and you're going,
When you realize I got it.
I might have a shot at this. When was that for you?
I mean, I was always one of the better players in my tiny little town, but it was a tiny little town, right? Like, even as, you get, I knew I was one of the better players, so I'd make like the the elite summer teams and stuff like that. I always just thought the NHL was just like light years away, just like
Untangible.
You know,
almost.
yeah, exactly. Like you'd have to be like a super freak to play in the NHL, but,
right?
You kind of do, right?
yeah. But you know, even those summer teams, like I wouldn't make the best of the best, and I thought those are the kids that made it. But you know, I was a late bloomer, and I just always had fun with it and wanted to work as hard as I could and get as far as I could. And it was never like I'm making it no matter what. It was just like, I'm going to do everything I can to make it, and we'll see. And to be honest with you, like, and completely honest, like even when I was drafted, even, you know, playing on good teams in junior hockey, and then even starting playing in the American Hockey League, like, I honestly never thought I'd play in the NHL until that day they called me.
Really?
And I can remember to this day, you know, looking at the coach, and I was on the ice in practice, and he looked at me, did one of these. I go over there, and he goes, "You're going up. You're playing tomorrow in Pittsburgh." I go, "Oh boy, this is happening." So
Dude, tell that story again slower. Like,
All right.
You skate over, coach, and you think, "Oh shit, I'm about to get fired."
No, no, we had.
And what's that? If you can put it into words, what's that like to know? Oh my God, I'm out of here. I'm going up.
Yeah, well, everyone kind of sees their place on the depth chart, whether it's like whether you're right or not. Like we had a lot of players get called up. There's a lot of injuries, and you're kind of doing it and going, okay, well, the guys ahead of me are gone. You know, I'm having a good season. Maybe I'm the next one. You know,
But you don't really know.
But I don't know, right? And then we were practicing one day, and I saw the manager of the team, pretty much the guy who's the position I'm in right now, talking to the head coach, and they're looking at each other, and he looks at me on the ice, and I was kind of watching this anyways. He kind of looks at me, he looks at him, he looks at me again, he tells me to come over, and I kind of thought, oh boy, is this it? Like, this would be really cool. And I goes over and says, hey, you're going up, you're playing in Pittsburgh tomorrow. And I was like, it's one of those out of body experiences where you're just like, whoa, like, am I dreaming? Like, yeah.
How does it feel to be that guy going up to the coach now?
Yeah, good question.
And you know how that fit, just talking about it. How does that feel being on this side of the fence, giving that kid that shot and letting him know and watch his face light up like yours is right now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, honest God, it's the exact same feeling. And what's great is I get to have it over and over, and every year you get to do it.
What a great job.
It's the best feeling in the world, getting to walk in, you know, call someone in the office. Sometimes they think they're, you know, getting in grief or whatever, like, and you sit them down and you tell them, and they just like, you know, they're just in shock.
Who gave you the best reaction?
I say Logan Morrison did.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Coco's was pretty good last year when he got called up. His was pretty good, but I don't remember Logan's. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, we had a camera set up because we were gonna like film it, and he was getting the treatment room, and I had to make sure he was healthy before we called him up. And he just kept lingering around. I'm going, all right, kid, get out here. Like, you're delaying your fun here. But so then the camera timed out, so we never actually got it on video. But he came in, and, you know, I just asked him, like, you know, how do you think your season's going? Like, can you, you know, what, you know, we were undrafted players. We signed you, you know, just give us a little bit. And he just kind of thought we were having a chat, right? So he tells us, he's like, you know what, you know, everything's going good. I think I'm having a good season. You know, it's gone really well, and I think there's just it's been a pleasant, you know, surprise, something like that. And I just said, well, you know, there's surprises, all right, and told him, and he was just like, what, really? Wow. Like, and I said, yeah, you're going to play in the NHL. You're going up tomorrow, and you're playing. And he was just in shock.
How many of them cry?
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing right now.
I can feel it. I can see it. It's the question. You have to know.
Some of them do. Like I mean, you guys all know all the players that we've called up, and I think Ville Ottavainen was the one that kind of just started to shed a tear a little bit. It hit him, but yeah.
So can I rewind and go back to you being on the ice? You got the phone, or you're sitting there getting called up. I got to know, who did you call first?
I called everybody in my Rolodex.
But there's always that one call you're like,
you'll have to Google what a Rolodex is.
I gotta call mom. I gotta call dad. Usually there's that, or I know they're together, hopefully, but we can't pick one or the other.
Yeah.
But you're like, I've got to call mom and dad.
I don't remember who it was first, but I'm pretty sure it's my parents. But here's the kicker: they were away on vacation in Mexico. And
Of course
it's
they
not
were.
like they, I could just text them or whatever. They were in some resort and couldn't get a hold of them. So we had like a family friend back home. I called her and I said, "Where are they staying? Like, can you get a hold of them?" And she didn't really know hockey that well. Called them, left a message, said, "Troy is playing for Pittsburgh tomorrow." That was the message. And my parents were like, what? This is, I don't know what this
How about
is.
he got called up?
Yeah.
And how about we got to call the airline and get a flight to Pittsburgh?
So they couldn't make it in for that game.
Oh, man.
But they flew home early, got back to Winnipeg. My next game was in Minnesota. So they went home, just unpacked their bags, repacked them, got in the car, drove from Winnipeg to Minnesota, made it for that one. So
Good parents.
yeah. Yeah. I don't think I had anyone at that first game but
Really?
Yeah.
So your first NHL appearance,
just the millions of people watching on TV, but other than
but nobody's
other than
in
that,
the
nobody.
arena to support you and you to kind of look up in the stands.
Yeah, I had it all to myself.
Did you do the rookie lap?
No, we didn't do those. I don't think we did.
Was that a thing back then? I don't.
They just kind of started like now everyone does it, and I think they're great.
Yeah, I think it's great too. It's something they can remember. Do you remember stepping on the ice though the first time? And I mean, in the bigs.
Actually, that first game was kind of a blur. Like they put me on the second line with I think it was Andrew Ebbett, Brendan Morrison. I think was my line mates, and I kind of look at these guys. I'm like, you guys know I'm a tough guy, right? Like I'm not a second line NHLer. Coach figured that out pretty quick, but I was on the fourth line halfway through the game. But it was that game was a little bit of a blur. But what really stood out, because I got called up in Pittsburgh, played in Minnesota, went to New York and played. We had a game in New York for the Rangers, against Rangers. I didn't dress that one, and then I played the next day in New York against the Islanders. But that game in New York, Madison Square Garden, I remember, and this is a good story, obviously. I walked out for warm-ups because I was just taking warm-ups. I already knew that. Walked out, and you see Madison Square Garden. You look at the iconic roof, and you look at it, and they're playing Teenage Wasteland. And I can remember that like it was yesterday going, man, this is cool.
That's the moment.
Yeah.
You're drinking it in then.
Yeah, that's where I finally settled in, and, I'm drinking it in, and
Tim O'Brien.
I was going to say, Tim O'Brien had the same.
Yeah, we had him in the chair not that long ago during our earlier days, and he talked about that. That's how he got to start, was in that building, and just the iconic memories of just everything, hockey and basketball and everything in between. And just his eyes light up, and he says it's special.
It is special. It's a very special building. Absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but
Who's the I'm not gonna say the best, but the favorite NHLer you ever played against? Not that you played with, but you played against.
Great question.
Yeah, I mean, played against. That first game was against Pittsburgh, so it was very notable that Sid wasn't playing, and Fleury was in the net. Evgeny Malkin was playing. I mean,
Region in all of these guys.
Yeah.
Just like how am I playing with my idols?
It's got to be a little bizarre to 1 minute you're just kind of playing hockey, you're doing your thing, and the next minute you're up playing with the guys that you're watching on TV and idolize at times, and you're running into them going, I'm like, did you have those surreal moments? I mean, I know you're in the midst of the moment and you're just you're playing hockey, so it's instinct and you're not, but kind of before or maybe during, and I know after, maybe do you have that moment of holy cow, like I'm up here doing it with these guys? And
I mean, that first team I played on had some great players. They had both Niedermeyer brothers. Chris Pronger was on that team. J.S. Jaguar was in net. They had Timu Solani, which was so
you ended
cool.
up playing with him in Anaheim again, right?
Well, that was the team I played in Anaheim with him, but I grew up in Winnipeg watching him doing his 1993 broke rookie records, and he was like,
I remember I was there.
Yeah, he was my idol then, and get to play with him. That was probably the coolest thing about playing the NHL was
nice.
getting to play like with your idol. And they say Nick never meet your idols because they'll always disappoint you.
Yep.
He's probably the coolest dude in the world.
You know, and I've
He's
heard
the
that.
nicest man.
I think
my God.
Ed Heathouse.
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
brother-in-law or something.
Yeah.
He said he's just the sweetest kid, just the most normal, nicest kid.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment, and I'm not trying to be all whatever, but like hallmarky, but you're on NHL ice with NHL greats. Do you ever take 1 second to think back to your hose down Canadian driveway and kind of wonder how the hell you got from there to there?
I think every time, man. Like I truly never took a game for granted. Like, you know, it was special playing in the NHL, and I wish that everyone could have that feeling. And, you know, I came to a point where I'm getting ahead of things, but I came to a point where I decided to retire. But, you know, I was playing in the American Hockey League, but if I was in the NHL, they would have had to tear the skates right off me. Like,
Oh, I'm sure, right?
That's what I'm finding. It's it's in your DNA.
Yeah.
It's who you are. It's not what you do.
And it was just so much fun. Like every game was so much fun. Like it was hard. It was grinding. Sometimes you're taking punches in the face, and you know.
Well, apparently you gave it a bunch because you spent some time in the box.
Yeah, I took some. I gave some.
Yeah.
So,
if you had a favorite part, a favorite thing, what would it be about the game?
about the game, yeah, it's very cliche, but just the fun with the guys in the locker room, like being part of a team like that, you know, just being around 20 dudes that are all just like you, and you know, it's like to have 20 best buds. Like,
All right.
yeah,
You probably had that playing basketball.
Mhm.
I know I had that, you know, when you're a paramedic, that's your whole life, right? And
Yeah.
whatever sports I ever did.
Well,
but
I think, with construction also, when you're out grinding, I think with when you bleed
Going through
and
the
sweat
same
with
trauma,
somebody,
right? Yeah,
when you're going
exactly.
through the same, and everybody has families and you're there for the same reasons, but you have to be there for each other. I mean, that's, you know, we all kind of do it differently, but everybody, you know, will ask me at times, you know, do you miss what you used to do? And I say, no, but I miss the guys.
yeah.
Every time, every single
100%,
time. Yeah,
100%.
great guys.
So you retire,
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, what are we
No,
going to do now?
No.
Oh,
We're
not
not
getting
going.
No?
I need to know about because clearly
Do we miss him? I might have missed some stuff.
you went from he's a professional hockey player
Yeah.
that spent how many minutes? I think he doubled.
621. And
He
I looked at it.
doubled-
It turns out it's not that many. There's guys with like 4,000
But we go to the
penalty minutes.
AHL, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden now we would almost double the penalty minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So let's
ask it.
I have to.
Yeah, ask it.
I'm a creature of
That's a good question.
I curiosity. I
Yeah.
gotta know. So you go down there. Is it that, hey, because I remember Sprong came down with kind of a chip on his shoulder. I loved it.
So we heard. We don't know.
I love that guy. Sprong,
Yeah.
if you're out there, I love you, buddy. If you're seeing this, I'm telling you, I love what you brought. Only because there was a certain toughness and no mess around. I know he ruffled some feathers.
Yeah.
But he came down with that chip on his shoulder, and okay, that's not everybody's flavor. But when he got on the ice, that guy produced and stepped up the game. So when you came down, you know, were you a little upset when you came down? So you're taking it out on these players, or is just your role was to get in there and mix it up coming down in the AHL?
I mean, it was my role for sure.
So you were the McKinnon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, a lot of my fighting happened in my early years where it's like I was still very, you know, trying to prove myself. And a lot of times I had to just fight just to stay in the lineup. You know, it's just like, if I didn't fight, like, was I good enough to stay in and keep playing?
kidding.
And
Say more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like as a rookie, like it's tough for a rookie in the American Hockey League. You're, you know, 20 years old going up against, I mean, it was older league back then. There's 30, 35-year-old players in the league, and established and former NHL players. And I'm a 20-year-old kid just trying to survive in the league. So, you know, I had to do something to stay in. So the coach goes, you know, at least you did something, kid, you know, like, because there's some guys that go out there, they don't fight, they don't score, they don't hit anyone. They're not strong enough to, you know, really skate hard enough, but they are prospects, you know, and they're going to get there. But the coach still wants to win, right? So who's helping them win? Who's really doing something there? And I don't want to say it was easy to get into a fight, but it was easy to, like, it doesn't take skill to drop your gloves and say, okay, we're going. takes skill to survive it.
All right, hey, listen, before we got to stop for a second. Before we keep going, we have got to thank our sponsor, Burgers and Beer.
Yeah.
These guys, Marco over there, Brian over there, those
Brian,
guys
Marco.
have been amazing.
Love you guys.
Chuck the Drunk Monkey is sporting some cool Burgers and Beer swag right
our
now.
guy.
The hat, the shirt. But hey, listen, guys, if you're watching this, you're hungry, get yourself down there because they got good food, good drinks, good atmosphere, good people. Man, don't miss out.
And you got to check out their breakfast menu.
For sure.
You would not believe that they have the most amazing breakfast option. Go check it out.
We've speculated during some games where, the team might be a little flat-footed,
Yeah.
little dry, not getting it done. And I'll tell them, I'll say, hey, they need to put Macker in there and just shake it up a little bit.
Slam.
And sure enough, 21 hits the ice. 2 seconds later, there's blood. And 5 seconds later, we're scoring goals.
Yeah.
Is that really a thing? Is that...
Oh, yeah.
That gets people pumped up?
Oh, absolutely does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Macker's so good at it, right?
He's good. I love that kid.
He's a tough fighter. He's very good at his role. He works hard. He's a true blood, sweat, and tears for his teammates type guy. And
He's a hockey player.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I heard he was helping some of the other guys to kind of teach him how to fight a little bit because some of the other guys don't get in there and square up quite the same. And so I heard he was actually in there helping them hey, this is what you do. Here's some techniques. Here's some things.
Yeah.
Is that
yeah,
true?
no, he helps guys out for sure.
That's cool.
Guys play rough and tumble. And, if you lay a big check, maybe someone's coming for you, right?
Yeah.
So Ian's very good at taking some of these guys and just go listen, I'm not telling you to fight. I'm not telling you to not fight. But if you get into a fight, you got to know how to protect yourself.
Correct.
And he's a great teammate
That's
that, and a great
amazing.
leader. Yeah.
And what I loved, and Dave and I did an episode early on, way back. You guys go back on early on episodes.
you
I'm plugging
selling YouTube.
them, yeah, because we've got 25 episodes that a lot of people haven't even seen. But one of them was amazing. It was RJ, right?
Oh, yeah.
RJ, he was the ice manager.
Oh, yeah.
The first
He
year.
went on to Utah Ice,
Yep, he's
running
in
the
Utah,
ice there.
So see you, buddy. We love you. Not see you, but we love you. But anyway, when he was playing hockey, we got on the subject of fighting and what it meant to hockey and how it policed the game and really the respect. And when I was watching for the first time, I didn't grow up in hockey. I'm still learning like everybody else. I represent that side of the fanhood. I was learning as the Valley was learning. And so I see people fighting and I'm like, okay. But then I realized, oh, this is more than that. This is a role.
Yeah.
But this is us policing things that are going on, and there's more of a camaraderie, respect around it versus this is just a violent thing that's happening.
Yeah. And you said it best, and it's the way the game polices itself, right? Like if they've got someone over there that wants to run around and be cheap, that's where Ian is that intimidating factor going if you do this, this is what's
coming,
going to
buddy.
happen.
Yeah.
I'm not, it doesn't have to happen.
I love that.
Doesn't have to happen. But
Right.
I'm the, I'm
on
the
the
sheriff
radar.
here. Yeah. Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, Sheriff McKinnon. I feel a new sign coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
That is a good one.
And it's a way for, guys to, just keep the peace in some
It really
ways.
is great. I love it. And once I understood it, it started to make sense. And then I saw the camaraderie after the fights. They still hug it out. Go have a beer afterwards. I mean, there's
Almost
no
like
hard
bar league,
feelings.
right?
Yeah, it's almost like bar league. There's no hard feelings. It's part of the game. It's there's no hate around
Yeah.
it. It's-
Well, there's some there's some hate.
some.
There's some hate, but it is more cordial than some people think. Like it's a job, it's a role. They have to do it. It's a mutual respect among two guys that do the same role, and it's some guys do hate other guys, but it's a game.
It's all
part of
part
the
of
game.
it.
Have you ever had, you've been on the ice, you have a gnarly fight, and you're like, man, mess you up. And ever have to play with that same guy on your team, and now you guys got to be brothers?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Is it
Oh, yeah.
weird?
Yeah, you kind of usually address it right away, but no, it's not weird
You
because
get over it pretty quick.
you honestly have such respect for the guys that do it. They often become one of your better buddies on the team, and. But no, it happens quite a bit. As you read in there, I moved around a lot of teams.
You saw a lot of ice and probably a lot of slugs too.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite fight? And not that I'm glorifying, I'm just, I'm just saying.
Well, I had a few where I did really well in.
We like those.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, fighting in in the NHL and, you're in center ice and everyone's cheering you on. I mean, I don't know if I have a specific one I like the most, but there were some fun ones for sure. Yeah.
I bet like Mark Messier, I met him, and that guy's like 9 feet tall and built like a tree.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So what got you going out of like, we're moving on, I guess, into I'm curious about you transitioning over, I guess, to the front office side of it, the admin side, the business side, the operation side of everything, because you could have gone so many different directions. I think when we talked to Cole, he said, when I'm done, I think I might buy a farm and just go be a farmer somewhere. Like, so what made you...
Tennyson opened a sushi bar. Like, who knew? Yeah, right?
That's right. Matt was off opening restaurants in New Jersey. So... I mean, for you decide to keep going. You decide to plug in. What made you make that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really knew what I wanted to do after hockey. I knew I was kind of done playing. Like, my wife was starting her career. I wanted to support her, and we had our first child, and didn't want to be a dad that's just kind of, playing hockey all around and don't get to see him. And I took a scouting job, or asked for a scouting job, and was lucky enough to get one, and I could be around home more. And it wasn't what I'd really planned on doing, but then I started doing it and just, really enjoyed it. And as soon as I got back in the rink again, I just go, okay, it's
home.
Yeah, this is, this is my love. This is great. So
you belong there. You belong around the game.
Yeah. So I loved it right away and just kept pursuing it, and did 6 years of scouting with Toronto before coming over here and joining the Seattle organization. And I mean, this was such a great opportunity to be more on the team side. When you're scouting, you're out watching games and you're writing reports, you're sending them in. But there's no wins and losses, right? Your team's winning, but you're not there.
Right.
And then this is, you're right in the middle of, building a team, managing, players and the coaching.
Well, you're
staff
steering the bus, right? I mean, this is your,
it's your baby.
Yeah, exactly. So it's,
tell us, let's start with you getting the call.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk all about this job because I have no clue what it is.
Well, and then can you also dovetail into like season one and kind of what all that meant and all those.
So you're sitting in a hotel room scouting guys in Sheboygan somewhere. I don't know where you were, but you get a call from the Kraken organization. Let's start there.
I think I remember exactly where I was. I was just at home, kind of walking up the stairs to get a call from my GM at the time, Kyle Dubas, in Toronto. And he just said, hey, Ron Francis wants to talk to you about a job within their organization. I've given him permission. Here's his phone number. He's going to call you. So he calls me. We talk about it, and go back and forth, and think about it. And
when he first told you what it was, were you like, whoa? Because it's not a scout job. That's a big boy job.
Yeah, no, it was certainly an honor. I mean, and it was a significant upgrade for my career, and I was quite honored. And I mean, Ron Francis is
he knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, smart dude.
It's quite an honor just to get a phone call from the man. Let alone him
wanting to picking you, having scouted you,
and trusting you to manage his, minor league stuff. So I was quite honored and took that, and that job started before the NHL expansion even. So it was a year before the Firebirds started.
I heard about that. Somebody had mentioned that the Firebirds came first. Like that was really the brainchild was to go, okay, we need to have an AHL team and then we'll figure out the NHL team. So
yeah, well, so we started in expansion. So I was the director of pro scouting for Toronto. So when I got
Toronto,
so when I got this job, I had some expertise around the league, and
awesome,
and it really helped. We all we were all in there, all of us in the management. Really helped pick the team out of expansion in Seattle.
Okay.
So then that first year, we started playing right away, but we didn't have the Firebirds yet.
Right.
So all the players like Cole Lynn, Max McCormick, Gustav Olofsson, Joey Decord. We had a few others. We had them placed in Charlotte, and it was the Florida Panthers team, but
the Checkers.
Yeah,
it's a great arena. It's a great old ass arena.
Yeah, Bojangles.
Yeah, Bojangles.
Dave's a fan.
$2 beers, $2 hot dogs.
He's a fan.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great little bar, and they have a great organization.
So Greasy Keys.
What's that?
Greasy Keys.
Greasy Keys. Yeah. So there was so we got to put some players in there. I kind of got to manage our interest there and make sure everything was kind of running smoothly. But it was also like a great learning curve for me to go down there, see how they operate, and I got to see everything from the inside. It was almost like they got to do everything, and I just got to watch and learn and get ready for the Firebirds the next year. All the while this building is being built, I got to oversee that and see how our locker room was being built and kind of figure out how to make it all work the next year, and which was a tall task considering we couldn't play until December. So,
and you literally started and created this team from nothing.
Yeah.
Which how many anybody ever been in your position can say that? Not a tiny handful, I'm sure.
No, it's kind of like real life fantasy hockey. Yeah.
So when they're digging the hole, you're getting your feet under you in Charlotte. Now it's time to assemble a team. How does that happen?
Yeah, well, we had a lot of those players in Charlotte that stuck around with us. We had a couple draft picks. Riker Evans came in, played right away. Mm-hmm. But we had to go field a team with free agents is kind of what it was. And we had, we even got some players out of junior like Ty Cartier, right? We went.
That worked out pretty well for you.
Worked out.
Yeah,
worked out very well.
Did you scout him by any chance?
I didn't. We have scouts in the Ontario Hockey League that really
I just
recommended
thought maybe
him.
you were kind of keeping, you got that old,
I'd love to take
old fashioned.
I'd love to.
Yeah, we're gonna take him.
Yeah, that was my guy.
Yeah, exactly.
No. So then we had to field them with a lot of older players who were free agents.
But guys that you knew or knew of.
Yeah, I mean we have a team of scouts that scouts the American Hockey League, and they give us all the information. They obviously did a very good job of finding a lot of these guys.
Yeah,
and
no, great job.
Yeah,
pretty sure I want them to help me pick some lotto numbers. I mean, that was a good combo they picked.
Yeah, and of course we had the talks of them being in hotel rooms, and that actually helped versus hinder you guys. It actually made it a beneficial thing for them because they bonded in a way that most hockey players don't get that opportunity to do.
Oh yeah, they were all in there, and I'm glad they all liked each other because they were in close quarters.
No kidding.
But no, it really helped, and I think we were 2 months in Seattle through and through there before we got here, and started practicing at Acrisure Arena on the Iceplex side while we're still figuring out the arena side, and played a bunch of games on the road, and we all thought, man, we could, really put this season in a hole here playing all these road games.
You did well on the road. Actually, your record was really impressive. So when you showed up to Acrisure, we were already in the standings looking pretty good. We were competitive.
Yeah. And then they obviously helped being at home for the majority of, January, February, March, April. And
how was opening night for you?
It was really special. It was really special. I mean,
walk us through it.
Yeah. I mean,
we're here to tell stories.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because everybody sees it differently, but you, that's your baby.
Yeah, exactly. And, even though we played a game in Acrisure, like there was still lots to be done, like it wasn't a finished product. So there's still tape on the walls and
paint drying.
Yeah, paint drying. Exactly. And we got a certificate of occupancy, I think, that morning, it was incredible, but, it was really special. I mean, you kind of run around and kind of wonder, what am I gonna do? What's my routine here? And, and we had a lot of people here, like Ron Francis was here and ownership and all that stuff. So you're trying to make sure everyone is got what they need and is happy and, we're in the right places. And then, we got a game to play. So I'd say it was more hectic than anything, but,
but then the lights go down.
Yeah.
And it's a game.
Then the puck drops. How did it feel after that? It was just
honestly, just like any other game, as soon as that puck drops, you're in it.
We're playing hockey.
Yeah, playing hockey.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I used to say when I played, like I'd be nervous all day, every day, like all day leading up to the game. I'd be, right before the puck drop, nervous, butterflies. As soon as that puck dropped, just like any other game.
Yeah. Routine.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have that same type of feeling looking up at Madison Square Garden, looking out over Acrisure, kind of going, I did it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I pulled it off. Like, we did
a lot of these things you kind of go like, there's so many projects that are kind of brainchilds that just don't come to fruition, you know, but this one did. And like, really, it was kind of a dream come true to manage a team like this. Right. And, you know, it was just personally, it was a great milestone. And I really felt it was so special for this city and this valley to do it. And I mean, you guys know just as well as anyone just how special it is in the valley here, and to actually get it started and seeing that building sold right out and loud and you know, everyone's cheering. It was really cool.
Going in, did you imagine the actual real life impact your team, your brainchild, your baby would have on tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people?
I don't think I knew the magnitude of it. I played in a lot of American League towns, and you know, some of them were kind of big deals in their town, some of them were not, but I never realized that this team was just going to kind of captivate the valley like it did. Like, I get stories every day of someone going, "Oh, we were at this place," and they were talking about the Firebirds. You know, they didn't even know we were Firebirds. They didn't know that we were parents of Firebirds, and they're talking about it. Or, you know, someone's, you know, Uber driver is talking about the Firebirds and has, you know, Firebirds license plate holder.
How cool is that?
It's really cool
out there.
It's really cool. I mean, and it's a great feeling that the valley is rallied around us in that way too. Like, it's just as much on them of, you know, being great fans. And I guess I didn't realize that this was such a great sports town. You know,
I don't think we knew either.
Wow.
We know we had the Palm Springs power, but I mean, baseball, it's not my thing. I don't know anything about it, but I don't know what the secret sauce is or was, but something happened. And I'm not trying to get all weird, but in a world that just seems to be falling apart on every level within the confines of this valley, because of the Firebirds, it's all good. Like, we can get along, we can have fun, we can love on each other. I think it's more than a sport now. I think it's more than just a team now. You did that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you've been in like New York and Pittsburgh, places where the roots run deep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you know what a good sports town can be, what it means to the people, and all of those things. And so now you got to birth that here, and then to watch it grow. And
fast.
I think that was what nobody saw coming, was just how quickly it all escalated. And like you said, it was one of those, we didn't realize we needed this. Or Kay Austin, shout out Kay.
You probably don't know this story. You're going to love this story.
But yeah, she, you know, what was her saying though? It was the thing that we didn't know we needed.
Yeah, it's the team we didn't know we needed.
And it brought, I mean, she's from England. Her, I don't know if you remember or saw this story, but, you know, season 1, he's getting ready to go to college. They're in the playoffs.
They're moving to England. They've got
packed.
all their stuff packed and gone. They're in their house with no furniture, but they stay because we're in the playoffs and they can't leave.
They got invited.
They sleep on air mattresses.
They got invited to one game.
Yep.
Wow.
And she fell in love with it. And it
was like a third of the way into the season, too.
He was supposed to. I'm getting.
Yeah, me too.
I know, because we interviewed her, and she's got the best story. She's just a fantastic lady. But they stayed. They sacked on people's couches. They would, because the playoffs. They go, we can't leave.
We're
now.
not leaving.
Yeah.
We're not leaving now. And he was going to college.
Wow.
And he says, "Mom, I'm not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
I'm staying. If they're going to the Calder Cup, I'm not missing this."
Yeah.
And so we go to the Calder Cup, and they're just like, "Well, we don't know how long we're here, but my gosh, he's supposed to be in England, and they got things to do. But we are here." And they refugeed it all the way up until the last.
And then
game.
what did they do when they got there? They wake up at 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the games live on
season 2.
And he was broadcasting on a projector on his dorm room wall, and other students would get up at 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the games with them. So
no way. I hadn't heard this story. This is outrageous.
Yeah.
So if you go back and watch our episode, I'm going to plug it again. But I can't. It's like episode 22 or 21, and I know that I don't know, but I'm telling you, there was moments when we wanted to cry because, you know, that story, but just her authenticity around the team, the love for it, what it meant to her. They changed their lives for it. And again, they woke up, and they'd watch every single game 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, freezing their butts off in England.
Yeah.
You know, just cuddled up. They have their jerseys on.
And she'll text, "Hey, I'm up. I got my tea.
I'm watching you guys.
I got my blanket. I see you guys.
I see you guys.
Yeah.
That is the weirdest thing is to be at the arena, us doing our crazy stuff, and have her, hey, we see you, love you, miss you, and all that stuff. And so this is what the Birds did. This is what you did.
My wife and I were in London over the summer, and I had it was a little bit chilly, so I had my Firebirds vest on, cool, very comfortable, very comfortable.
That's a nice
worth
vest,
every penny I paid. Anyway, we made a wrong turn. We went down the wrong street, and I stopped to look at my phone and check the map, and I looked up, and I'm like, and there's a mom, a dad, and 2 kids walking down the street with Firebird stuff on.
No way.
Yes.
Swear to God.
And wait.
And I'm like, hey, you guys, we started talking Firebirds. Yeah, we started, and they're like, wait a minute. I know you're in 106. You're the guy in 106. So
It's crazy.
That's how big and small this whole thing is,
and make it how intimate. That's I think what makes it special.
Yeah,
and to see the guys, every so often at Target or they run into places and they're they're free.
Yeah,
and so when we see them on the ice and then you run into them at, you can touch them. The kids look up.
Don't touch them.
Yeah.
I mean, say high five them. High five them.
Yeah, no touching.
No
the players,
touching the
okay.
players. But I tell you, man, these are just a couple stories.
Yeah.
And we're trying to peel back the onion with this show to tell all these stories the best we can. But we've had people who were going through physical ailments. They were going through physical ailments, but because they're watching the Firebirds, they're like they have something to just keep going, and it gives them that I don't want to say purpose, but it just gives them that extra something to like fight through it, deal with. Like it takes their mind off it. Yeah, and for us, that's why we become big kids. For 3 hours when we hit the arena, and we don't think about work. We're not thinking about anything else. We're just there in the moment, and so thank you. I guess that's realistic. I think thank you. I mean, man.
Well, thank you guys
done.
too. I mean, like we can't do this without great fans. And I hear stories like, I don't know about the English family, but I mean, stories of a lot of these snowbirds, they go back and then it's like, oh, we can't miss games. So then they come back again. And it's like, that stuff warms my heart. Just that, people are changing their lives to be a part of the Firebirds family. And I think that's just so cool that sports can do that to people.
All right, hold on, guys. We got to take a second, though. We got to honor Burgers and Beer. They are the official sponsors of our episode today. This is fantastic. And if you guys have not been down there, you got to get down there. They've got amazing burgers, beer, obviously, but chicken wings. They've got nachos. They've got an amazing breakfast menu. You have got to check that out. We're going to be out there. We're going to have watch parties. Yeah, come hungry. There's going to be a lot of watch parties when these guys and the Firebirds are on the road. But thank you, Burgers and Beer, for sponsoring this and being a sponsor and a partner. We thank you. We appreciate you. So cool. Here we go.
Now, you've been, God knows how many AHL teams, NHL teams. Have you experienced a fan base like this anywhere else? And you don't have to say no just to do the show, but
you just said it. Yeah, no, I
know. You answer anyway, because I know, theoretically, I know if you had been involved in the Hershey organization, the answer would probably be yes, because they're nuts.
They are nuts.
But have you experienced this kind of return on emotional investment in any other barn with any other team?
I don't, to this level, I don't know if I have. Obviously, I played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Toronto's like the mecca of hockey, and, but, guys like, Dion Phaneuf, Phil Kessel, they couldn't walk out of their apartment without someone, mobbing them. I was the 13th, 14th forward, and I could walk from my apartment down to the street, and all the people in the finance industry where they'd have their suits on, they'd be head down. They didn't know who I was, but so in some ways it was crazy in Toronto. In some ways it wasn't, but like you come here and it doesn't matter if you've been on the team from day one, like Max McCormick and John Hayden, or if you're Charlie Wright, who's been here for, one season up and down from Kansas City. Caden Price, like some of these kids.
He doesn't even know what he's in for.
Yeah, exactly.
I've tried to warn him.
Yeah, everyone treats our players so well around the town, and it's not like they love them because they, they're celebrities and or whatever. They truly love the Firebirds, and I think our fans are just such good-hearted people.
I agree.
We had Michelle Cherland on last, and she's a local elementary school principal,
Season ticket holder,
and she celebrity. The word celebrity never came up, but she described, and her kids, her students described them as they're our local heroes because they go out and they fight the battle. They fight for us and they win for us, and that's it's a real impact.
Yeah.
But they're unlike in say LA or where in the big markets.
Yeah.
You see these guys at Target and you see these guys at restaurants and stores and whatever, and they're just regular guys.
Genuine dudes.
Super. By the way, I don't think I've ever met one of them that wasn't so nice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
there's a good, and that must speak to the culture of the team because it's a good environment.
Yeah.
These are good dudes.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a big part of being a good team is having a good culture.
Yeah.
And, we pride ourselves in, drafting good hockey players, but good people as well. I think it's just so important to have good people, and we've really done a good job of that over the years, and that's a big reason why we're successful too. It's like,
Sure.
is everyone likes each other, and everyone fights for each other, and they, someone gets a knock somewhere, there's someone right there to back them up, and that goes a long way. It's truly a family. So yeah.
And what a great recruiting tool you guys have now.
Yeah.
I
Golf
mean,
courses, tennis courses.
Yeah, I mean, outside
courts.
of the great weather and most of these guys are looking for pools and spas, and then for their rentals, and then of course they get to go play golf after the practice. But then also they have the fan base. They've got this beautiful facility. They've got culture now, a winning culture. So are you beating these hockey players off with a stick, and have you seen an increase of maybe some attention around here and wanting people to play here, free agents and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it is a good spot for free agents. They do want to come. Obviously, like if you look at our team from last year to this year, a lot of the players that left were they were replaced by our Kraken draft picks. We really didn't sign anybody from last year outside of a few AHL contracted players. But there are people knocking on the doors for sure. And what was great for that was the All-Star game too, right?
Oh, that was great.
That was fun. That was
God,
a
I
lot of
enjoyed
fun.
that.
The All-Star game is great because it's the best of the best of around the league, and they all get to come here. And some of them played in the East, and they've never been to our building, and they go, "This is what you guys have every day."
Every day.
And they go, "Yeah, this is every day. It's 75, 80 and sunny every single
in
day.
December,
and,
January, February.
play golf on the days off,
Yeah.
and go to nice."
Well, we're spoiled. We always kept
restaurants
saying
and-
we're
yeah.
spoiled.
We're definitely
we are
spoiled.
spoiled.
Definitely spoiled.
Yeah, and we were
100%.
spoiled season 1 and 2, and we still are. I think it's just incredible. So we figured that was going to be real easy to attract the free agents in that market just because of what we have. I mean, we're pretty special.
Yeah,
That's
no,
crazy.
absolutely.
So I don't even know. I kind of lost track of where we are in time, but there's a couple of things I want to talk about before we wrap up, and that is VP of Hockey Operations. What is that? Like, what does that job
It's a
entail?
great question. It's
It's 7 o'clock in the morning. You're having your coffee. Walk us through a day.
Yeah, so I mean, I manage the team of players. I manage the staff, the coaching staff. I manage our relationship with Seattle, which is probably the biggest thing. So there's players called up, they're sent down. Sometimes it's daily, sometimes it's twice daily.
Are you making those decisions, or who's making those
So
calls?
in Seattle, the general manager, so Jason Bartle, Ron Francis, they would call me and say, we had an injury, we need a forward. Sometimes they will tell me, okay, it's Ryan Winterton or it's John Hayden, or they'll say, who's playing really well for you? Let's talk about this. And, I get to be brought in on the decision making, which is fun. So
And then you get to make the call. Come here,
Yeah.
we'll talk to you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's stuff like that. Since we're like a true affiliate organization, like in Seattle, assigns us players, they have up there, the management staff have a big say in kind of how we manage our operation. So I make sure that's all aligned and stuff like that. But, we have a relationship with Acrisure Arena, who's not, who is unbelievable to us. So there's a lot of logistics that go into that. But, I handle a lot of logistics and travel and ice time and, making sure the players get housing and stuff like that. They get their own housing, but
You have a team that helps you with that, right? You're not making those calls, are you?
I'm making a lot of those calls. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a travel agent that helps us and she's phenomenal, but we kind of do it all down here. So
you're just a fireman.
Yeah.
You're putting out fires all day. You need a
there are
helmet
fires.
and hose.
There are fires. Yeah. You get the odd phone call, which we won't talk about. Don't need to, but we deal with those as well. But
Those get handled.
yeah,
Everything gets
exactly.
handled.
Nothing's perfect, but yeah, I thankfully they've been little fires, not
Little
not
quiet
big
fires.
explosions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what for you might be the next step? What is your goal? Everybody that we've talked to, we
On
feel
their way
like
somewhere,
they're
right?
on their way to the next thing, and of course, the next thing is always into the show, right, or the NHL, or go somewhere different, or just whatever. So, what's the next step for Troy?
Well, that's the beauty of our league is like, everyone looks at the players and then go, this is their journey to the NHL. They're building to get to the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Laxdal, Coach, Bickle Sone, all even down to the athletic trainer, the equipment trainer. They're all trying to get to the NHL.
Yep.
I'm no different.
Okay.
I have
Good.
dreams of doing this job at the NHL level.
Love it.
And this is,
And I'm sure you will.
I hope so.
Well.
I mean, but in the meantime, this is a pretty good gig.
It's a good
not
gig.
bad. Well, you got a nice feather in your cap in your resume.
Yeah.
For
You might mess around and get a job in Buffalo and be like, I don't know. That's,
Yeah, be careful what you ask for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'll be very selective, of course. But no, I mean, I just like these players, and that's what's great about this job is I can go to them and say that. Like, I want to get to the NHL too. Like, I don't just want to help you get to the NHL. I want to get there. We're in this journey together.
so you help them, they help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. It's
So,
growth. And, I got to throw this in here before I forget about it.
Yeah.
But we were at the meet and greet, which was just fantastic. And, obviously seeing a lot of the guys and, return. It's getting interesting, though, to see just like, I think we only have a couple from the original.
Not the
original.
our
It's
veteran corps is
It's
getting kind of
it's
thin,
dwindling
right?
down. It's starting to get real interesting out there.
Like when Chucky's a veteran, Ty Nelson's a veteran. I was like, wait a second, he's only been around a year.
Yeah, we call him Chucky.
You
know
ever
that?
look at him? He looks just like Chucky.
Okay.
No comment, but that's great.
He loves it.
Oh, he loves it?
He
Yeah.
loves
I'm
it.
sure he does.
So we
He's
saw,
such a good
I
man.
saw him last night, and I said, "What's up, Chucky?" And
And he's a killer
loves
like
it.
Chucky too, let me tell you.
So Dave's got a sign for him during warm-ups, and he kind of looks like a Chucky doll. He loves it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
we're always
Yeah.
we're the ones yelling that.
But we get the sense he's stepping up, right? To being a leader.
I feel like he is.
Yeah.
And that was the most. I saw their faces, and we're walking down the line and saying hi. It's really cool, the interactions. But to see the young kids that are not young kids anymore this year, but they came in wide-eyed, not knowing what to do, and oh my gosh, we're in the HL, and oh my, this is the Firebirds, and we're doing the thing. And there was a calmness, and I think there's going to be a steadiness to these guys now, and they get to show these younger cats, the 19-year-olds coming up, and what to do and how to act. I mean, like you said, I guess they're veterans now. They get to,
it's crazy to think, but
it is.
it's
It's neat. But I also said, and so John and I talked last night. Hayden said that I said I was really excited to see him, and I'm really excited for the season. And he was excited, and I said I'm so excited I could play. He said I should talk to you. He said you should. He said, okay, well you need to talk to Troy. Well, actually, I'm going to talk to him. Later on. So, I thought about it.
You want a
now,
job?
I'm not
You want
as
a
young
job?
as I used to be, and I do. But here's what I'm going to offer up.
Okay.
Okay. So just
I
keep
can-
this in mind.
yeah.
If you need a third backup goalie in the building, I'm your guy.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and
Have you
raise
ever
my.
strapped on the pads before?
no.
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 But
Well, the guys would love for you to come out to practice, and they would love taking head high one-timers at
Yeah.
you. So.
You need
oh boy, I feel like this is really going to happen. But
the backup goalie is usually the punching bag in that sense where they,
so Troy, here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to
not that.
go ahead and put myself out on the wire.
Okay.
I will, on camera and on air, say I will strap them up and I will get between the pipes, get in the crease. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to take a slap shot from one of these guys, but I will take a few little You know, if they want to take a swipe at me or two, they can.
Oh boy.
Fair enough.
Let me just. So I think I've seen you out there. I play in the adult league at Burger. I'm not great, but I took a slap shot from Rachel Reedy.
Okay.
And I still have a bruise.
All right.
Telling you,
don't want
you
this.
do not want.
I don't want this.
Any part of taking even a wrist shot from one of these guys.
I'm a little crazy that way, but so if it ever, maybe we just get in there, see what it's about. Maybe I just go in there, fool around for a minute. How about that? And then from there, maybe we bring the junior Firebirds. We start there. How about that? They
might still hurt you.
Yeah, Little Riker. Maybe take a shot from Little Riker first.
He's an animal. But
Little Riker Ankeny first,
we'll work
and
that
then
out.
we'll see what happens.
No, I think it would be fun. But I talked to him, and he was laughing about it. And I said, all right, I'm going to talk to this guy. So I'm going to offer up third goalie just in case.
All right, then if you're offering that, I'm going to just watch. I'll just watch.
Might need bodies. Keep that phone on.
How excited are you about this season? We're getting ready to land the plane here, but let's talk about this season. What do you anticipate? What can the fans expect? You can talk about the arena. You can talk about food. You can talk about the players. You can talk about it all. Like what can we expect this season?
Well, I've I know we're gonna have a good competitive team. We're young, like we went through it. There's some of our original veterans. They're starting to dwindle. And it's these young kids coming up, but they're good young kids, right? They're good young prospects. The Kraken have drafted really well. We've got our second and third year players that, have, that were rookies, last year before type thing. They're going to step up for us, right? They're going to step up in bigger roles. They're going to step up in scoring roles and checking roles and stuff like that. It's exciting having a good young team, just as exciting as it was having a good veteran team. But, these are good players and I'm really excited to see who really steps up and takes those big minutes.
I agree.
Do you have any predictions?
That's where I'm at.
Or do you not want to say right now?
I don't know if I'll say any predictions. I may have some predictions or theories I'll keep internal.
Sure.
I don't want to call anyone out improperly, but there's some guys that had some good camps up in Seattle and took steps.
Good. And
worked really hard this summer. And, I fully think they're going to, come out of the gates hot and we've got we're going to be putting them in roles to succeed because without having a Yanni Newman who scored 30 goals last year, someone's got to replace those. But I think we got guys to do it. So
I know that I don't know, but it appeared last season that Lax was continually trying different things and experimenting with different combinations of things. Can we expect more of that till we find the magic recipe this season?
Certainly. I mean, Lax likes to juggle the lines around. That's kind of his thing. And, he's a great coach and does a good job. And
for sure,
I commend him for, if something's not working out, don't have to stick with it.
He'll do it on the fly too. He'll do it,
He'll do it. I won't even notice it sometimes. And then I'll be like, when did this happen? It's like, what happened last period? Oh,
where are you during the games? You're not on the bench. Like, where are you?
No, I'm up in one of the suites there. Yeah.
Pacing?
Floating around.
No, I'm actually right across from you guys. I think Suite 11.
Oh, jeez.
All right, well.
Yeah, I know where you guys are. All right, you don't know where I am, but.
We behave.
Yeah.
Yep, we do okay. We have yet to be escorted out.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I told that line every once in a while. Depends how we're playing or how things go. But
do you get competitive up there a little bit?
Yeah. It's in some ways it's the worst because there's nothing you can do. Right. Once the puck drops, I've done my job.
Yeah.
Like
we've done all we can.
And your eyes probably follow the play and can see how it's developing and what's going to happen, and you need to be there and you're not there, and it's not like and that's got to be kind of frustrating. But it's par for the course.
It's never perfect, right?
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect, and down here, they're not NHL players. They're AHL players. They have a lot to learn and long way to grow and develop, and that's part of it. So you have to manage your frustrations and understand. Okay, they're just some of these guys are just they're kids.
The kids,
they're young kids, and they've got to grow. And I was in those shoes, and that's where I'm lucky where I can understand that. But at the same time, it's you're competitive. You want to win every game, like. I know we're not going to win every single game. I haven't seen an undefeated season in this league yet, but it's
sometimes you just got to redefine win, right? If winning is playing harder and better than you did last time, score notwithstanding, that's a win, right? I mean, the score is going to be what it's going to be. Yeah. But this is a developmental league, so progress I think is maybe more important than the wins. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I say No, we're here to win hockey games.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounded stupid when I was saying it out loud. Now that I put it out there, but
pretty fluffy.
Yeah.
We want to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we want to win. We're competitive. We want to win.
Yeah, you do.
But there's definitely times we've lost, and I've been very proud of our group.
Yeah,
Sure.
You know, and that's
that.
something I can truly say and go, okay, I was
Game 7
happy with the
Game
group
7
too.
of the final, season 1. Proud as can be.
Oh man,
Even though it went the way it went.
yeah, but I mean, you fight to the end, and as long as we're putting in the effort, I think that the things to clean up, I'm not going to call anything out. It's just at the end of the day, though, I think we just need to close out games when we have those leads and really, put our foot on their throats and say we're shutting the door on this. And we let a couple get away from us last year, and I just think that we're a little young, and like you said, we didn't have a lot of veterans at the time, and now we don't. But I think guys are going to step into that role. So hopefully,
and now's a good time to remind the fans have the same responsibility, right? We have to be there for them. We got to show up. We can't. I'm glad the games are televised, but we got to be there in the seats, making the noise, bringing the energy because they feed off of that. I'm guessing. So
we
have a job to do too.
Well, Riker and those guys even talked about it. They said, "No, we hear you. We feed off that. Yeah. We know you're there." I mean, we even say it after warm-ups. Every warm-up, we say, well, we
did our job, right?
We've done our part. We've done our job.
Well, our first part, then we got to go and
then we go to our seats, and then we do the rest of our. But we show up. We show up.
Yeah, it's 100% fact. The more people and the louder the building is, better they play.
Yeah, they do.
The better they want to play, better they want to be, and they get more pumped up. So absolutely. So.
Well, you can bet we'll be there.
Is there any fan experiences you want to touch on before we get close to? So I'm going to get into this, but we'll keep it. So is there any fan experiences you want to, shout? I know there was a lot that,
a lot of changes
that we were told and got to experience on media day when we saw the new menus. And then, but I know there's things that we don't know. So I just didn't know if maybe this is a great platform to let fans know what to expect coming up, things that we don't know about. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we came out with the reduced parking price, right? So you prepay for parking. It's $20.
Love that.
And that's pretty big. Cause I mean,
it's huge.
It's tough to get to games unless you're driving or jumping an Uber. So and
the Uber's going to be more than $20.
You got to pay for it either way. So these are things we listened to the fans when they brought up these issues, and
it was great.
And we truly listened to them. We have food specials every single night. They're going to change every single night.
Love that.
Still going to have our $5 beer nights, our $10 wines.
Yeah.
We're going to have new food offerings within the arena, like new permanent spots there, and so that's exciting as well. There's a lot happening at the arena.
The Oasis.
Yeah.
There's out front the Oasis where they're going to have all that activities and the food and the drink and the
happy
dancing,
hours.
Happy hours.
I think that's the coolest thing about our building, really.
Yeah. You go.
It's such a faux pas in hockey to leave the arena. Well, this one, intermission, you go outside and it's nice and warm. You sit,
it's 85 degrees.
Beautiful outside.
Have a burger and a beer and and
outside.
warm up and go back in. I think it's so
it's
cool.
epic. Yeah, it really is.
That's a cool place to hang out, like between periods, and just make sure you're in your seats on time.
Absolutely. Yes. Make sure you're in your seat on time, Mr. Fuego Nachos.
So did I bring something up here?
What happened? Well, yeah, there's in season 1 and
2 and 3.
So what happened? We're very superstitious in our section. And I was gone, and we got scored on like twice while I was gone, and then I got hell from everyone around me. It was just,
as you should.
Yeah. What are you doing? Not being.
Yeah.
It was my fault. And it was. I sit down and no joke, we scored in the next 30 seconds or like 3 seconds. It was instant. So everybody says from now, you don't leave. This is your spot. I'm like, okay. But then
still, he always goes back late.
Between series 1 and 2, this is where I go get my popcorn.
Yeah.
I love the popcorn there. And
Kettle Mitas.
Kettle Mitas,
so
baby.
good.
That is the go-to. It's always been a staple of ours. And then we'll get the nachos at times, but it takes time, Dave. And then I have to say hi. We talk to some folks. We do the thing, right?
All I hear is blah, blah, blah. Get to your seat. That's all I know is get to your seat.
That's all you heard?
Yeah, that's all I hear. It's all I heard.
That's all you heard.
It sounded like a grown-up in Charlie Brown. Wah, wah, wah. That's all I heard.
You know what? I'm going to get to the rapid fire questions. I'm done with you.
Here we go.
Yeah, buddy. All right. So we end the show every way, and these are real simple. You don't have to think real hard. It's just
like you're not allowed to think. You got to like that.
What's your go-to food at the arena?
Oh, popcorn too.
Yeah, kettle meats. What's your you and the wife go out to the valley? Where do you guys like to go?
I like Portavilla. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great spot.
Really good
Yes.
spot.
We actually did an episode
with
at the
Matt
restaurant
there.
with Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, really cool.
At
Yeah.
the restaurant. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
It was a good one. On the radio, or what's on your radio come game day? You're heading to the arena, and what are you playing?
I'm a pretty simple guy, but I'm a hair metal rock.
Yes.
What?
Metallica, Van Halen.
Oh my God! I
Gross.
Yeah.
never
Really?
would have
True.
figured
Absolutely.
Now wait a minute.
Yeah.
Now, and you were born when?
that. 85.
Yeah, so that the hair bands. So you had to kind of learn about the hair
Oh, yeah.
bands a little bit. I
Yeah.
grew up.
They
with
were
the hair
oldies
bands.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. I grew up with that stuff on
Yeah.
MTV. Yeah,
Yeah.
Poison and all those guys coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metallica and the
I had
hair
to learn
bands
all
and-
that stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Damn.
Good for you, dude. I like that. What does a treat yourself day look like?
A what?
We call it a treat yourself day.
Oh, treat myself.
Treat yourself. I say,
Oh, God.
we
Yeah.
got it. Yeah, what is that? I know you
No,
probably don't
I'm
get a lot of them, but
Big greasy burger and fries, like a Five Guys or
bro,
something like
come on.
that. Like and if I treat myself, I treat myself.
You
Like
go
it's-
all in.
Yeah, all in. I'm not
Yeah.
like a sweets. I like ice cream and stuff like that, but yeah, a good greasy burger and fries.
Yeah.
There you go.
Got me, dude. Well done. And I haven't
I'm
eaten
getting
some
kind of
already.
hungry just thinking about
I
that.
am, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So this kind of goes either way. It's a 50-50. Are you a DC or an MCU guy? So are you a DC or Marvel guy?
Oh God, I'm gonna have to say neither. I'm not.
Oh,
I
wow.
am not a comic book
Superhero,
type
none of
superhero
that.
guy at
So
all.
if I was to say who's your favorite superhero, you would be like,
I would just have to pick one, and I'm not that type of person.
Okay.
Yeah. I
That's-
will respectfully pass the question.
Wonderful.
Not offend
First
anybody.
time. First
I've
time.
offended
I
everyone
tried to
already.
pass.
have
You would have
not.
let me. I had to make something up.
That was good though. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
no one's ever okay. Last question. So, what other profession other than what you're doing now? You know, playing hockey, but what you're doing now, would you have liked to try or done?
Yeah, I mean, my parents were small business owners. I would love to get into some sort of business. I don't know about like the big corporate, but I'd love to just kind of have like a mom and pop shop. And what even the content is, I
Yeah,
don't
what are
know.
you
but
selling? Knickknacks?
I think the fun would be just running
ice cream, burgers.
Yeah, running a business like that, like
Really?
Five Guys burgers and something like that. It'd
Love
be too many treat yourself days.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that is what I would do, and I would just love being there every day and
That's cool.
kind of just doing everything. And I think that's something about this job that I get a big kick out of too, is just having so many different things to do and juggle and manage.
Listen, your job now is very similar to being a small business owner because you got to put out all the fires.
Yeah.
And the only difference is you're not writing the checks.
Well, the thing.
Yeah.
That's really the only difference.
Well, actually, too, though, being a business owner is you need to know the ins and out of everybody else's
Yeah.
job.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what a good business owner does.
Yeah.
They don't just manage the business.
Yeah.
They know what everyone does, down to the janitors and what toilet paper they're replacing, down to the soaps.
Yeah. No, exactly.
That's somebody, and that's what I think. That's the kind of person you are.
Mhm.
You're down to the details guy.
Yeah, you gotta be. But that's a good question, though. I always like to hear what people's answers are. We ask the players stuff like that too. So
Well, I do what I can.
you learn something about
You do,
people.
and that's the point of
We
the
learned
show.
I learned a lot today.
I did too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you for
and
coming in.
taking the
This has
time.
been really super cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
We'll see you at the arena. We'll see you at Burger, and we'll see you wherever we see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do this every time, though. Can you look at one of these cameras and
Yep.
just say, "Go Birds"?
All right, go Birds.
Go Birds!
Go Birds.
See? Now that was fun. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Firebirds Fan Zone, please remember to hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. Those likes and subscribes help other Firebirds fans like you find the show so they too can get in on the fun. Till next time, go Birds!